Oh, baby, baby, what you done to me? What you done to me? Ooh, you make me feel so good inside, good inside. And I just wanna be, I just wanna be. Because of you, you make me feel so alive. You make me feel. All right, so yesterday I saw the movie Respect, starring Jennifer Hudson, Forrest Whitaker, and for me, one of the Marlon Wayans, and for me, one of the actors in the film that killed the movie was making sure I get her name right, Sky Dakota Turner, the little girl who played Aretha Franklin in the film. So I recorded this video yesterday, and what I decided to do was just scrap that video and do it all over again, because I felt like with this generation, what we do is we see something, we don't live with it, we don't care, we just kind of already put things on the chopping block. I wrote about it on Facebook. I spoke to somebody I went to high school with, and he posed a good question. Like, I wish I could get my laptop. He posed a good question, basically, to paraphrase. He said, "Are we even like mindful of, do we even appreciate these kinds of films anymore?" And I'm like, yeah, like that's a good question, but it has to do with the way that we view things. So let's say, for instance, if everything that was in the past we kind of appreciate a little bit more, but I'm trying to look at this through a different lens. But there were some things that I was like, that for me, speaking honestly, could have been a little bit different. All right, so let me start with, this is gonna be a spoiler, so I'm sorry if you plan to watch this movie. I might have to spoil some parts because that's the only way it's going to make sense to me. So I was talking to a few coworkers about the film, and I said for me what really stood out was that girl's performance, Sky Dakota Turner. I was just talking about Forrest Whitaker's performance as Aretha Franklin's father. He did a really good job. The movie starts out with the young Aretha Franklin. It talks about her relationship with her mother, her father. They show us very early on that she's capable of singing. He has her get up in the middle of the night during his Saturday night parties. He's a pastor at a church, a bishop, but his house was just a little bit like, I don't know, it was trying to show different layers to what some people in the church's experience could be like, if that makes any sense. He was abusive, and I'm not saying that people that go to church are abusive. I'm saying that could be somebody's experience. So they talked about that in the film. The little girl, it's implied that she was molested at a young age. So later on in the film, what they do is they show us like kind of like a flashback. And I read an article from Rolling Stone, which it had talked about how fast everything kind of happened and how they kind of they didn't give like a lot of details, so they felt like they could have done that. But where the movie really came together was through the music. Jennifer Hudson, an incredible voice. She really is somebody that's done really well. Now I'm gonna get flack for this one, but it was a little familiar to me. I said, where have I seen this before? And I did think about Dreamgirls, because in a lot of ways it's kind of the same era. But when I tell you that what Jennifer Hudson, what made that film was the fact, like, so Aretha Franklin loses her mother at a young age. So it follows her throughout the film, meaning they called it demons. They called it, the things that were troubling her. So I didn't know she had a drinking problem. I respect the dead, but, call it what it is. So that's how she was kind of coping through that, But with that being said, she was able to, the music is what really brought everything to life. When I tell you I was in that movie singing, oh my goodness. So they took the time to really go through the songs. In the article, it also mentioned how they played all the songs from the beginning to the end. You don't really get that in a biopic film. In a biopic film, they just show like a clip here, a clip there of a performance or whatever. But this was like, to me, it was really well done in that way. What else am I trying to think about? I don't know. I think it's a good film. Would I watch it again? I would watch it again. Would I recommend it? I would recommend it because I like the elements of history in it. I thought that was really important. I didn't know she was affiliated with, I didn't know she was down with Martin Luther King in the way that she was. So I thought that was something good to take away from. Is it an Oscar-worthy film? Lord. I think that might be I don't think that's up to me to decide. I do think that the Dakota Turner really did a good job. And then I started looking her up, and I knew she looked familiar. She's the little girl that was singing the Patti LaBelle song like a few years back, and it blew up. And then when I read I read something, an article about about her playing this role, and before this she had played Tina Turner on Broadway. So in my head I was like, oh, okay, so that's where the acting chops are coming from and everything like that. Shout out to the director, shout out to the entire cast. I thought it was really, they stayed true to the time period. So the clothes really looked, not that I was living during that time, but from what I would think it would look like, that was good. And like I said, it did remind me of Dreamgirls, but I think that the difference was, and I would not get off camera without saying this, that because Jennifer Hudson had lost her mother in such a vicious way, when they go to this particular scene where she's just down and out and going through it, y'all know what I'm talking about. When she went through that, I knew she wasn't acting. She was not acting at all. This was her in real life. And I say that as a compliment because she really had to bring that out of herself. Like I said, I would give this movie from 1 to 10. I'd give it an 8.5, 8.5, 9. I felt like it was exciting. It was good. It was a good historical piece. It was, we have to pay respects to one of the greats. You do feel like singing. One of the things that they went into a lot of the history and how songs came, the inception of a lot of songs, but they didn't talk about the inception of, or for me, maybe I missed it, but the song Natural Woman. So I know Carole King wrote the song, and then it came to Aretha Franklin, but she just kind of just sang it out of nowhere. But then in the end, when they brought it, I knew that song was too big for them to do it like the way they did. They have a clip from, you'll see it, but they have a clip of Aretha Franklin singing it, and it's a clip that I've seen on YouTube before, but it was so much more, impactful at the end of that film. So yeah, Forrest Whitaker, great actor. He really played that part, the father part. He did a really good job. Marlon Wayans and all the actors that we don't know. We may not know their names, but it takes a real big cast. This was somebody that I know had auditioned for the film, and she said in 2019. So it wasn't like it was that long ago. And with everything that happened, the pandemic and all that, I'm sure that it had to put a halt on everything, but I'm glad that they waited so that we could see this in theaters, because that's what it deserves, and that's the respect that it should get. And yeah, Jennifer Hudson did a really good job. I think she could be a contender for a lot of awards. I feel like she could give us more. She transformed, but it was like a transformation, like to what she did in a way in Dreamgirls. Mary J. Blige was in the movie. I think Mary J. Blige's part was kind of funny. Mary J. Blige has become a way better actor from her Jamie Foxx episode where she was playing whoever she was playing, another girl from the church with the father that was very demanding or whatever. Ronald Isley, he played her father in that episode. But yeah, it was a good film. I think it was something to take away from, a lot of little pieces in there. I was talking about it with coworkers and friends on Facebook, and I asked, should I put out this review? Because I don't like criticizing people's work in that way. I'm an artist sometimes, and I'm like, it's so easy to chop down people's work, and that's not why people do things. If they thought it was going to be bad, they wouldn't have done it. But so I'm here to respect, but also to share my honest opinion. And if you don't want that, I don't know what to tell you. With that being said, over and out. Ooh, baby, baby, what you done to me? And that movie made me want to dance. It made me want to sing and dance. Over and out. 1.